Welcome to r/am I the a-hole where OP silences his girlfriend in front of his family. Am I the a-hole for silencing my girlfriend? I, male 28, have been dating my girlfriend Nancy, female 25, for about 2 months now. We met on a blind date that our friends set us up on and have been seeing each other relatively regularly since then. I'm not entirely sure if we are officially boyfriend/girlfriend, but Nancy seems to think so. Nancy describes herself as a bit of a mean girl. I honestly thought she was joking for a while, as she is typically quite nice. However, she has an awful tendency to insult people based primarily on their appearance. These insults can happen anywhere and anytime and can be targeted at literally anybody. Of course, she never says these things about the person right in front of them. The other day, I invited Nancy to a family friends event we were having. My mother's friend, Sarah, had just gotten out of the hospital for cancer. Sarah's family and my family are very close. I've known them since I was born and consider them to be extended family. Due to cancer and chemotherapy, Sarah no longer has hair and is very thin. Once Nancy saw her, she started smirking. I literally pleaded with her to not say anything rude, and she agreed, but told me I was ruining her fun. Fast forward, I'm chatting with my mother, female 55, and sister, female 24. Nancy walks by and says hello. She chats for a bit before starting to make several highly offensive jokes about Sarah and her appearance. I will not repeat anything, but her jokes mainly pertain to baldness and her anorexia. My mother and sister looked mortified, and so was I. I literally had my jaw hanging open for a good few seconds. Once I snapped out of it, I firmly told Nancy to stop and that no one found her sense of humor funny except herself. She just got upset and said that I was being controlling and misogynistic for trying to silence her. I maintained my position and reaffirmed that her comments were insane. She got even more upset and asked that we leave. I said it would be rude for me to go as it was still relatively early, and she ended up leaving on her own. My God, you dated her for 2 months? Why? Look, man, I'm as blind to red flags as anybody. Honestly, blind doesn't describe it enough. Colorblind is better. Those red flags be looking kind of green sometimes. But I don't know why you date anyone who identifies as a mean girl. That's literally disgusting that you are not only aware of your toxic behavior, but identify with that toxic behavior and that it's part of her fun. Ugh. Homie, all I gotta say is I hope the sex was worth it, because that's the only thing in my head that would potentially make someone stay. Must have been crazy. She must have been doing some things. The only thing that would make you the a-hole here is if you didn't get rid of Nancy like yesterday. Also, OP added an update on this thread that said I was complaining on the phone about Nancy to my friend who set up the blind date. He dead told me he introduced us on April Fools for a reason. Look, man, I'm all here for jokes, but what a terrible joke. Like, get rid of your girlfriend, get rid of your friends, go find some friends who aren't gonna set you up with awful people. Am I the a-hole for picking my wife up from the airport 10 minutes late? My wife was due to fly into one of the most popular airports in the world last night at around 9 p.m. Her landing time was 8:50 p.m., no checked luggage, so I told her I'd be there at 9 p.m. At about 8:05 p.m., she apparently started calling my phone, but unfortunately, I didn't see/hear the calls until 8:15 p.m. I didn't hear the vibration because I had my gaming headset on and was gaming/talking with friends. Keep in mind, I wasn't expecting any calls from her until after she landed. When I finally realized she was calling me, I picked up and she told me that her plane had landed early. In this airport, unheard of, and she told me to leave now. I just said, okay, I'll see you soon, and hung up. I thought it was fine to finish my online match and left the house 10 minutes later. I drove to the airport and there was a ton of traffic as usual and as expected. I didn't pull up to where her and her friend were waiting until about 9:05. My wife sprung the fact that we had to bring her friend home as well, which I was fine with. They lived a few minutes away and everything was fine until after we dropped the friend off. Then my wife showed me how upset she was that I made her wait an extra 10 minutes and that there was a huge difference between waiting 30 minutes and waiting 40 minutes. At first, I kind of laughed it off and tried not to be upset back at her, but inside I was thinking, hello, I'm doing you a favor by driving to the airport and picking you up in the first place. Why are you getting upset over waiting 10 minutes longer than you wanted when people sometimes wait hours to be picked up at the airport? Eventually, we had a little back and forth about it, but I was just sick of arguing over something so small to me, and I wanted to just agree to disagree. And my wife was also sick of talking to me if I wasn't going to apologize, so I went to sleep. Am I the a-hole? I feel like this isn't an apology-worthy event. You can't just land almost an hour early and expect your driver, even if they're your husband, to drop everything they're doing and come pick you up immediately, right? I picked this post because I have a very different opinion than what most people were commenting on this post. Everyone was saying OP was the a-hole for not tracking her flight and literally being on standby the second she lands so he can pick her up on time, and claiming that he doesn't actually love his wife because he doesn't miss her enough to be glued to the screen watching her flight from start to finish. And I was like, what the maybe this is the inner dude in me, but I just don't think this is that big of a deal. Don't get me wrong, I definitely disagree with OP in a lot of ways. For example, when you're married to someone or you have like siblings, daughter, brother, etc., and they need to be picked up from the airport, that's not a favor, that's a responsibility. And the only way that you can really get out of that responsibility is if you have something previously planned, that absolutely no way can you pick up that family member from the airport. That's how it was in my family, and that's how I think it should be. But him having that opinion doesn't make him an a-hole, and I don't think he's an a-hole for not tracking his wife's flights. I think the wife might just be uptight and a little bit of stress from a day of traveling, and that she just needs to understand that it happens. Sometimes you miss a call, or sometimes you show up to an airport 10 minutes late, and that's just how it is. If I tell someone who's gonna pick me up, hey, I land at 9 p.m., I only expect them to build their schedule around that time. If the flight lands early, my only expectation is that they pick me up by the time that they would have normally picked me up, or if the flight's coming in late, seeing if they're still able to do it, or maybe arranging another method of getting to where I need to go. Personally, that's how I think it should be, but like I've said in all of my videos, my opinions could be wrong. I want to hear what your opinion is down in the comments about this post and any other posts that I ever read. That's all the Am I the A-hole posts I had for you today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I come out with videos every Monday and Wednesday. Go watch another one of my videos here. Go watch my podcast here. I will see you guys